Here I have a GTX 1070 and we're going to find out if this is still a good option for gaming in 2023. Stay tuned. Now before we jump in, let's take a quick trip down memory lane. The GTX 1070 was released in 2016 and it was an absolute powerhouse when it came out, offering good value for money and excellent gaming performance. But how does it fare now in 2023 when we have some of the most graphically demanding games of all time? That's what we're going to find out today. Now before we get into any benchmarking, let's talk a bit about the specs. I have the MSI GTX 1070, which has 8GB of GDDR5, which does a great job of handling textures and offering good gaming performance. The architecture within the GPU is still quite relevant as it provides good power efficiency and performance. Also, the test bench we'll be using for the benchmarks is my PC, and it has a i7-7700K CPU and 24GB of RAM, which is weird, I know, but that's for another time. We also have the electric 35-inch ultra-wide gaming monitor, which is 1440p. I did a full review on that, so if you want to watch that, check it out over here, but it's an excellent monitor. So we're going to run a bunch of tests on some of the most popular titles such as Fortnite, GTA and Fall Guys, and we're going to test how well the GTX 1070 performs on these games. So let's get into it. We are going to start off with Fortnite. Now on Fortnite, I got an average of 160 FPS on low settings, 120 FPS on medium settings, 70 FPS on high settings, and around 38 FPS on epic settings. So I would say this GPU is mostly suited towards medium to high settings, but if you want 60 FPS consistently, I would go for high settings. Epic settings did run well, but it was below 60 FPS, and I know a lot of people want that consistent above 60 FPS on all of their games, which makes sense, especially for Fortnite, because it's a fast-paced game, you have all the building and all the editing. So I wouldn't recommend playing Fortnite at epic settings at 1440p with the GTX 1070. Next we're on to GTA 5. Now with GTA 6 trailer coming out soon, maybe I'll do a new video on if the 1070 holds up with GTA 6 whenever it comes out. GTA 6, obviously there isn't any preset like low, medium, high, so I just made sure to set most settings to very high and turn up population density, and I got around 90 FPS, which is very good. The picture quality looked great once again, occasional frame drop, but that's normal. It was very smooth, very easy to play. Remember, this is at 1440p. I keep saying it because I can't stress this enough. This is at 1440p, 3440 by 1440. So if any one of you guys want to play on 1080p, you'll have an absolute breeze with this. The 1070 is more than capable of handling 1080p. And I think 1440p is really where this GPU is kind of perfectly placed. 4K is a bit too high. 1080p, you'll just have the most insane frames. But I think at 1440p, you really get that balance of good frames. Next one to Fall Guys. Now I know Fall Guys isn't the most graphically intensive game. I had to play this because I almost won and you guys have to watch it. So on Fall Guys, it was at 2560 by 1440. That was the max resolution. It doesn't support ultra wide aspect ratios. So on Fall Guys, I kind of got around 100 FPS constantly. It was once again amazing image, very few frame drops. This is what I'm saying, guys. 4040p is really the sweet spot for this GPU. You get excellent frames. Your GPU doesn't go ballistic and ramp up in temperature. Now, as the gaming landscape evolves, we've seen trends such as RTX and higher VRAM requirements as bigger games are being pushed out. While the GTX 1070 might not be the go-to card for some of these bigger games, I think it can still do a pretty good job if you tweak the settings a little bit. You probably won't be playing out full-on ultra settings on all the newest games coming out. And like I said earlier, for those who play at 1080p, this is still a solid option. Now I've been gaming on the 1070 for a while and I would still say it's a pretty good option. However, I would also recommend looking at some other perhaps used cards on the market. I'm not sure about what the GPU market is right now, but I'm sure the prices of 3070s and the like have reduced quite a bit. So if you can get a used 3070 for around the same price as a 1070, I think that would be the better option, because games are only going to get more and more graphically demanding. So it's probably best interest to get a newer card. But if you, number one, find yourself gaming at 1080p, this is a good option. If you don't care about having the most amazing detail in your game, I don't know why you wouldn't, but this is also a good option. And if you're fine reducing settings here and there for some of the more popular titles, this is also a good option. So that marks the end of the video, guys. I can definitely say the GTX 1070 still does an amazing job for 1440p gaming in 2023. If you guys liked the video, please hit that like button. If you didn't like it, be that guy and dislike it. And if you loved it, please subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.